Howdy, and welcome to the Feed Bandit Podcast, where we talk all things hunting and introduce you to the most innovative hunting gear and services. Here are your hosts, Jimmy Byrne and Richard Kinchlow. Howdy, folks. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit Podcast. Jimmy here, along with Richard. How are you doing?
Outstanding, my friend. Outstanding. Glad to be here.
All right. Awesome. Well, I know we promised the listeners to come back with a little recap on how at least a couple weekends of dove hunting has gone for us.
Yeah.
Our last episode, we mentioned in passing, I think,
Yes,
that the first one was a tad slow, but let's dive into the opening weekend and just say kind of what went down and why we thought it might have gone down that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first and foremost, thank God it's here. I mean, right. I just Friday Night Lights and Texas high school football and the college football. Tech is off to a 2-0 start. I mean, that's just Texas Tech. That's fantastic.
Well, hold on now. Remember,
no, I know.
When this one comes out, just like.
Yeah, we better be 3-0 by the time this one airs, or I'm going to be really upset.
Yeah, playing out in Arizona. Oh, by the way, at a 9:30 kickoff. That's pretty crazy. It's going to be a late night.
I might be going teal hunting the next morning in north of Dallas. So that's,
oh, really?
Yeah, that's going to be that is going to be an early. It's going to be a late night and an early call, which equals nap time on Sunday.
There you go.
Angry wife. So we'll see about that. Maybe I'll give my kids a fever and be like, "Oh man, so-and-so's really sick. I got to go take a nap with her." 5 hours later. So,
right.
No, yeah. Anyways, it's just great to be back out there again. To be able to smell that gunpowder and just to feel the excitement. Admittedly,
to hear the pops in the distance.
Oh yeah, God, I love it.
Kind of sporadically all day in a way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, didn't hear as many as we're kind of accustomed to, but I think the long or the short of it, yeah, it really wasn't a great opening day, but hey, I'm just happy the opening day came. I think really what the big culprit was the weather. When we talk about frontal systems that blow down birds or that blow dove and other migratory birds away, it doesn't necessarily have to be old man winter's knocking on the door. It can be just a subtle shift in the temperature, and those birds are like, well, okay, time to go. I mean, we need to remember that they do not have iPhones. They do not have meteorologists. I know that's surprising, but they really don't. So, they get one little sense of so-and-so, and they're out of there. That's why the teal ducks are always kind of the first ones down here. They're just super uber sensitive to that stuff. They get an inkling of cold air, and they're out of there. Well, unfortunately, I guess it was on, probably Wednesday or Thursday. Thursday, excuse me. Of kind of the week prior to opening weekend, we had a little frontal system come through Dallas, and we had one of those squall lines, and it went from 104 to 75 as we were driving. I'm like, yep, there they go. They're all gone. They're going south.
Like perfect timing.
It was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It's nice. It's nice for us, here during the week and everything, but it's like, we've dealt with this 100-something degrees long. Just come on, hold out another week.
Oh, yeah. No, you're exactly right. But, yeah, it absolutely torpedoed the dove hunting really north of Dallas. I've even heard guys that had, big sunflower fields. They just got crushed as well. So, but it's just kind of the way it is. But, yeah, it just blew birds way out of central Texas. And I heard of some really good shoots down south. Of course, Panhandle was always good. But, yeah, Rancho Bandito, was still really dry. Yeah, we were keying on water like we typically do. Just didn't get into them. We did shoot a couple. I think I ended up with 4. Again, it's obviously not all about the killing, but what I was kind of hoping for is that we would have some migratory birds come in, with the front, with the way that system kind of came through. I kind of expected to maybe see some, and for opening weekend, we sure didn't see any.
Mm-hmm. Well, you ended up with 4. Yep. And I think I shot at 4.
Yeah.
But that was about it. Although, up on my little perch where I sit a lot of the time, I was able to, again, watch some deer in the distance.
Yeah.
But it was interesting, though, that up there, typically, I'm able to watch a lot of dove flying, that just don't come in sometimes. And this time, I just didn't see anywhere near what I saw, typically in the past. So, yeah, I mean, it's got to be that cold front or whatever.
Yep. And they just weren't there,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember being there I guess it was a weekend before, we happened to drive through at about 4:00, and our cup runneth over. I mean, there were birds everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's the beauty about this tank that we hunt, is that it holds water very well. And the birds just use it all summer. It's just an awesome tank. But yeah, like I said, they just got up and moved. But again, it was a fun weekend overall. Tech won, which is great. We did lots of all the other outdoor activities. Got my daughter on her first scoped rifle, which was absolutely huge. Got her on a Remington bolt action 204, which is a little smaller caliber than the 223. Not as fast as a 221 Fireball, but kind of in the middle. So we're gonna do a big piece on that. I've got lots of pictures, got some videos. But that was a real milestone, and sure enough, the first thing she wanted to do this past Saturday was, hey, let's go punch some paper with the 204. I'm like, oh my God, I love you. Yeah, that's great. That's super exciting. So, made up for a kind of a crummy start.
Well, didn't you mention, while we didn't see a lot of dove, you saw some other interesting birds?
Did. Yeah,
I guess you don't normally see.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
time of year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, and I think I mentioned it in our in one of our social media posts. You're in trouble when you see Canada geese or any sort of big ducks or a gadwall, mallard, or something of that nature, when you typically are not supposed to see them, i.e., September 1st. Rancho Bandito was not in a fly zone really for geese. We will get some geese during polar eclipse, thunder, snow, life is about to end as we know it type stuff. Woolly mammoths are coming back type snowstorms, which have happened all of once. So, you're in trouble. I remember looking up right towards dusk on September 1st. And I'm like, yeah, wow, there's 15 Canada geese. That can't be good. What are you doing here? I wanted to pull him over and show him my phone, but you're here. You need to be way the hell over there. What are you doing? So yeah, no, that's definitely an indicator that we had some sort of frontal system come through.
Well, it should have been an omen to us of what was to come.
Yeah.
What definitely. But I will say this: you prepared yourself for this year, so you took it okay.
I did. Yeah. I brought my drugs, legal and illegal. I brought my paper bag, my little squeezy ball thing, and had a couple of a lot of vodka drinks to just kind of keep me off from going crazy. So, no, I appreciate that because I think I handled it pretty well. The other thing is that I know that I've got other hunts in the future, so yeah, so that was good. So fast forward to weekend number 2. Now, again, kind of setting the stage for you. Weekend number 2, as far as the weather in the general area, I mean, nothing had changed. Okay, it was actually something did change. It did get a little bit hotter. I mean, it went from 97 to 102, 101. So still super super hot. Tanks are drying up. Okay. Feed sources are drying up. So, again, what are we going to key on? We're going to key on water, because we know that, that we've got some of the best water in the entire area. So, one of our really good buddies, ends up going down on Thursday, and I send him to an area of Rancho Bandito that's got, an area that's kind of got 2 tanks. Okay. And the first tank always goes dry. I mean, literally, when May comes around, it's like somebody pulls a little drain plug. But the other tank will stay relatively full, assuming we have some decent rain. So it was starting to go down. So the banks were starting to show, which is it's kind of good for the dove. Okay, the dove, again, they don't like real high slope tanks, right? They like real flat stuff. So as a tank runs dry, I actually think the shooting gets a little bit better. I mean, Jimmy can attest to this. Some of our best dove shoots have been over tanks that are literally the diameter of a kiddie pool, and that's no joke. And you just wonder, you just makes you think, my God, this is crazy.
Now, did you send him to the tank
I did.
that I'm thinking of, where I got my first limit ever?
Yes.
And I was over a small pond.
That's what I'm getting at. That was that very spot. And what was so crazy about it was the exact same thing, Jimmy. Crazy. So our good buddy goes out there, and he ends up hunting there for a little bit, and I guess he got out there about 5 and had a couple of shots. Really, the birds were really kind of more working around him, which was kind of interesting. I actually went back there on Saturday and confirmed it, and we had a lot of birds that they had fed and they had watered probably somewhere else, and we're actually heading back to roosts kind of near in that little valley area. So that was something kind of unique. But anyways, he ended up getting kind of bored, actually, and he ended up going to to one of our blinds that's near there that's been pretty heavy with the pig activity, and was sitting there, and then the cows moved in. So he said, you know what, I'm just going to run back to that tank. Does this sound familiar to you, Jimmy? Because this is basically exactly what you and I did. So he goes back to that tank. He shows up about 7:10, and he is absolutely just dismayed with hundreds and hundreds of dove.
Oh wow!
Have fallen upon this tank, and he said it was all he could do to get all of his gear out, and he just parked, and they just were coming in, and he was shooting and doing everything he could. I think he ended up with about 8. And if you know this guy, he's an outstanding shot. So he ended up with about 8, and he said that he basically put his gun down. Because it was very, very similar to when we were at Texas Tech. We would, there would be so many birds that you just couldn't pick a target.
Wow.
Yeah, he said. Yeah, so he said it was just like that. So fast forward to Friday, and another one of our good friends joined us. And of course, by this time, I'm just like chewing my cheek,
salivating.
Oh, God, I want to leave right now, but of course you can't. And fast forward to Friday, so now it's him and another guy, and it's something I should mention. I mean, clearly, when you've got that many dove, that are flocking literally flocking to a tank like that, you've got to know that those are migratory dove. Those are not dove that live on that property. So he got real lucky with a whole flock of them.
Hey, hold on 1 second. Hey, folks, do you want to level up your hunting game and gear? If so, join the hunt to get killer hunting tips and tricks that'll help you out in the field. Text the word BANDIT to 345-345 right now. And when you do, you'll even get access to some exclusive deals on the hunting gear and services we discuss right here on this podcast. Again, text the word BANDIT to 345-345 right now and join the hunt.
Fast forward to Friday. This time him and actually 2 other guys go out to that tank. Nowhere near as many birds, still kind of flying around them, but they still had a respectable shoot. I think they ended up with like 6, 8, and 5, which, hey, I'll take that any day. Yeah. I, on the other hand, I went to a tank that was near the house tank. And it was kind of a cool little situation. It's actually, I was sitting under the tree that I duck hunt from. And I wanted to go there because, A, I wanted to check it out for teal. And, of course, I'm just drooling all over myself. It's perfectly, positioned for teal. But there's this little island that's out in front of me. So I got a little body of water, probably, 5 yards across, that kind of goes into a bigger pool over to the left, which is probably, 20 by 20 yards, something of that nature. It's just a great spot to hunt teal. So I forded the little the little creek, if you will, that's that separates me from, or separates the the main lake from this little lake that had formed, and put my decoy on the island there. And it was pretty slow and pretty hot. But about 5:30, again, my head's on a swivel. I mean, I have to keep a leave with me. I mean, it's insane because I'm just that crazy about it. About 5:30 or so, I see something out of my peripheral vision. I look up. I'm like, well, I know that is not a mourning dove. I know that's probably either Eurasian or collared dove, which is an exotic species. So you can kill as many of them as you want. Either or that, or it's a white wing. So I shoot and just instinctively just throw my gun up and fire. Because again, that's how you shoot. That's how you shoot. That's how you wing shoot. You sit there and you think about it, you take your time, you're going to miss it. So it was good that bird was on me instantly. So anyways, ended up nailing him. He kind of did one of these. If the shot didn't kill him, the tree would. And he was ding, 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 ding. Oh, yeah. And he just powder puffed. And I knew when he hit the ground, obviously, again, he wasn't a mourning dove because, when the bigger dove hit, they just kind of poof. You can hear him. And sure enough, ended up being a white-winged dove, which was really, really cool. The white-winged dove are typically found more near city limits. You can hear stories about guys, especially down south. That's kind of where they originated from. San Antonio, the Valley, and all that. You can hear the stories about guys going out there and just slaughtering them. Because they're pouring out of the city in big flocks into these fields to feed, and then they go back into the city to roost. It's crazy. So, Rancho Bandito, we don't see a lot of white wing. In fact, the last white wing we killed on the Rancho Bandito headquarters was 1995. Wow. So that was really cool.
That's crazy.
So that got me excited. I'm like, oh my God, it's a sign. I'm going to kill bajillions of birds. I mean, I was pretty sure I was going to limit out.
So this would be a different omen, hopefully.
Yes.
Than seeing the geese.
Yeah, but unfortunately it was not. So, fast forward another hour. I'm like, where are they? My girls are doing the whole shotgun shells and the finger things. Like we're gonna get Edward shotgun shells or shotgun shell hands. Mm-hmm. It starts getting a little closer to dark, and I look on the horizon, and here they come. When it was all said and done, we were attacked by, I'd say 3 groups of about 10 to 15 birds apiece. So, wow. They were migratories, and I got one in each of the first 2 groups, which was great. And of course, so Illini was sitting at the tree, right, Jim? Yeah. He was sitting at the tree, and I'm like, "Illini, birds all over you!" And his boys were trying to tear each other up, and so he wasn't paying attention. They were laughing at him, and it was very comical. But I'm like, "Dude, they're on your decoy, and I can't see him, Rich." You know him. So, actually,
I can picture that 100%.
Oh yeah. So, really, I shot pretty well. The only real miss I had, the only mistake I made, I had a group coming from my right, and they were doing the whole bob and weave type thing, and I thought they were going to land right on my mojo. So I was going to let them land and spook them up and try to get 2 pretty quick. No, they just buzzed my mojo and took off, never to be seen again. So that was my only mistake. Power, huh? Exactly. I spilt my coffee. I'm like, I want some ass. I bought some ass. But yeah, it was fun. I ended up with about, I guess 4 or 5. So another fun hunt again with my girls. That's what it's all about. So
that was Friday night.
Yep, that was Friday night. So I got to listen to some Texas high school football on my app. Got to listen to the Tucker Brown show. It was Throckmorton versus Bryson. If you do not know where Throckmorton, Texas is, please look it up. It's one of my favorite towns. Is where I cut my teeth. It's because of that town we came up with a lot of the ideas that we do on this show or on this what we do at Feed Band Period. So Saturday rolls around. Like I say, we do some more shooting with my daughter. Just working on technique, working on pull. We'll talk about all that later, but so important, especially if she wants to shoot a swine here in a couple of weeks. So excited about that prospect. But Saturday night, I end up going to those tanks that Mar buddies hunted, and did okay. I had a really pretty vantage point. where I could see the whole tank. Of course, that tank had really come down. I'd say it's probably 20 by 20 yards now. But had some birds come in. Had an interesting thing happen to me. It's probably all mental because that's literally what I do. Man, I'm exhausted when I get back from dove hunting because I just am it's just so focused. It's just ridiculous. I don't have to have my Ritalin when I dove hunt because I am just laser focused. I had two groups of birds come in for relatively early, hovering over my mojo, and I've got my shooting glasses on they're kind of UV protective, and they're protective, and they're the rose colored glasses, so they kind of illuminate everything. Missed both of them completely, and it was probably about 6 o'clock, so the sun was not overhead. Obviously, it was obviously going down. For some reason, I've got something going on when I've got those glasses on, and it's getting later. I can't shoot. I can't hit anything, and I think it's all mental. But I ended up taking them off, and I didn't need them anyway. I mean, the sun was kind of up my back, so I ended up taking them up, and I had a dove that was trailing a southwest plane, and he was that far up there, and I just throw my gun up and shot him almost. Thank God my Mag Daddy Caddy's got a back to it. I would have fallen off my bucket, which I've done a million times before. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. But I ended up nailing him. He landed on the opposite side of the tank, just dead as can be. Nice. Then I ended up shooting about 4 or 5 more. So overall, shooting pretty well, which was exciting. Just not getting those numbers. So
now, did anyone go to the big tank?
They did. They went to the big tank. Oh, it was awful. It was just awful. I just was stunned, Jimmy, because I just knew that, if we had all been we were all being bombarded by big groups of migratories. I just said, you know what, with sunflower in the area, that tank's going to get some attention, and enough never came. I could not believe it. And of course, I give Dad the report. He was he was hot. Oh yeah, he was hot. But the good news is that we got the weather starting to kind of mellowing out. Things are changing. We got reports of teal on the way, which is nice. The highs this week. Later in the week supposed to be in like 94. Come on. We hadn't had that since like May. So that's going to be nice. We've got some sunflowers that are going to hopefully start maturing, and we'll get the shredder after them, and we'll see what happens. So as long as we don't get another foot of rain like we did in October of last year, I think we'll be in good shape. Speaking of, I went and looked at if for those of you who are like to hunt birds and dove and stuff and keep track of it like I do, there's an app called the Hunting Bag. I tried to interview those guys because I really love it, and I've got the Hunting Bag app, and I've got. My first season was 2010, so I've been tracking them, and it allows you to kind of put in what you harvested, where, so on and so forth. And I'm going back and I'm looking at my notes from last year, and I logged some ugly grams in there, some language that I shouldn't have had in there. But it's amazing. Let's see. So for last season, I harvested 33 dove. For this season, I'm already up to 13, so almost within striking distance. So
wow,
yeah, okay. That's crazy. And how much I dove.
Crazy.
How much I dove hunt. Now, since we're looking at this, we'll go to the ultimate high, and this is when we had children. So, there we go. When the tank was really, really big, which was big for 4 or 5 years because of the sunflower. My biggest total was 163.
Nice.
163, 153, which that's kind of funny. Here's an off year, 134. It's just crazy. Anyways, I hope for the return of those days again. But for now, we're living it. We're loving it. And teal season's coming up. Teal season opens up this Sunday.
Yeah, the 15th, right?
Yep, the 15th. And here in Texas, and Lord knows those little dudes are delicious. So looking forward to smacking some teal. We'll see.
All right. Well, we wish you luck on your hunt this Sunday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That'll be fun.
Yep, it'll be fun. Hopefully, we'll get some pictures and we'll talk about.
Hey, hold on one quick moment. Hey folks, have you ever wished that there was an easier way to find the hunting feeds, supplies, and services you need, when and where you need them? If so, check out our hunter search at feedbandit.com, where you can see what hunting suppliers are in your area or are on the way to your land. Don't waste any more precious time searching Google or calling around for feed, blinds, feeders, or even outfitters. Just use our targeted search for hunters, the Feed Bandit Hunter Search, over at feedbandit.com. We'll find your feed. Well, also, not next weekend, but deer season's coming up. But archery starts at the end of this month, so we'll start sprinkling in some some deer discussions. As we lead up to that, and we lead up to normal general season, rifle season. Starting and whatnot, and that'll be fun.
Oh, speaking of, we didn't. I don't know if I told you, but you know the area where you've got kind of your blind and feeder. By the way, all right. So did
y'all go out there by chance?
Yeah. So we did. That's what I was getting at, and they went out there on Friday. Lots of good activity already.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. So
everything is still operating.
That's my understanding.
As designed.
Well, sure, of course. I'm actually going to bring I'm going to bring one of our video cameras out there and put it on the spinners, so we can get some more content there on the SpinTech anti-coon device, because that thing is worth its weight in gold. So I'll go check it next weekend too.
And I'm going to bring a game camera next time.
Oh, nice.
So just put it out there, kind of permanently through the season.
You bet. Yeah, we need some rain. We get some rain, though. I think it'll cut down the dust. I think we've actually got some deer that are out of velvet now. So the antler growing season is done. No need really to keep filling up those protein feeders unless you've got exotics that are still, that are still in velvet and still growing their antlers, which you may have. We do. And obviously the does. Some of the fawns are still feeding on the does, so the protein's good for the does. And anyways, we got some really cool video of some fawns eating some protein underneath a really big buck. So kind of funny to see the whole circle of life thing. And and then the camera, it's really tough to see how big the fawn is. But then you look at him underneath that buck, you're like, man, that thing is either really tiny or that buck is huge. So
right,
yeah, fun to see.
Right,
fun to see.
All right. Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if the pace continues the way it is, or the trend, if you will, then that means the next dove hunt will be even better, a little better, and the next one will be even better than that. So at least the trend is up.
I'm excited, man. I'm real excited. Coming in mid-September through really the end of the year, it's really hinges all upon migratory dove. And if you've got the habitat, you got the water, you got the roosting areas, which there ain't nothing you can do about that. That's just giganto trees, right? And you've got the areas for them to get grit and gravel for to help their digestion. And you got the water and the feed. You're going to be in good shape, and we've got kind of all of that. So, man, if we can just put it together, be so exciting. So we'll see.
Well, knock on wood.
Yeah, lots of it. I encourage everybody to, because if not, I'll be a whiny little what until September 1, 2020.
Please, dove.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Well, awesome. Okay, well, you got anything else you want to share with the folks tonight before we sign off?
That's it, my friend. I'm good.
All right, good deal. Well, we hope everyone out there is having a good dove season. Like we asked always, we always love to hear how things are going with you. So drop us a line, howdy@feedbandit.com, and let us know how things are going, also, let us know, if you agree, disagree with anything, we talk about as far as, some ideas or tips or tricks or anything we might discuss while we're talking about, hunting particular animals or birds or whatever. We always love to hear how other people, kind of do it. Maybe you have a trick of the trade that would be interesting, and if you wouldn't mind allowing us to share with the audience. It's always
Yep.
good to, people and hunters, especially new young hunters, the ones that are listening, to kind of, just hear how other people do things, and
No doubt.
we don't claim we are the end-all, be-all experts in how we
Nope.
do things. And, of course, if there's a better way to do it, let us know, please.
Please.
We'd love to hear about it. So,
Yeah.
and we just love to hear from you. So please just drop us a line and say hi. All right. Well, with that, I don't have anything else. So if you don't, we'll go ahead and sign off and say thanks, everyone, for listening. Have a good one, and we'll talk to you on the next Feed Bandit podcast. Take care. Thanks for listening to the Feed Bandit podcast. Just a reminder to text the word bandit to 345-345. And when you do, you'll join our email list, where we'll send killer deals on innovative hunting products and services, along with entertaining tips and tricks, straight to your inbox. You don't want to miss out, so again, text the word bandit to 345-345, and we look forward to seeing you on the hunt. Until next time, have a good one, and remember to support your local feed store.